Welcome back to another day with less anxiety. It's me, Orest, your anxiety coach. It's good to have you back. I hope you have a fantastic, motivated day today. And today I would like to answer a fantastic question that was asked by Matti. He's asking on one of the videos that is up on the site. Thank you, great video. What do you think? Why is it so hard for so many of us to intuitively understand what is good for us and act accordingly? Why do many people need rationale to get a clue? I'd be very much interested in your take. First of all, I love the question. Thank you, Matti. I really appreciate it. I love the question because it's kind of asking like, what the hell these videos are even for? Why don't we just know instinctively what is good for us? And why do I even need this awareness and understanding of what is happening inside me to be able to function better? And it's a good thing to understand many of these things, even if you don't naturally know this. And the value in this is a lot like, understanding how thunder and a thunderstorm works. So when you hear the sky rumbling, you know what can happen. You don't think that you angered the gods and you have to go home and sacrifice a chicken and do some things to fix it. Understanding more complex processes, it can be very, very helpful so you can act accordingly. You can recognize them when they're happening. And this is the equivalent of what happens on the inside. That is what I try to do here. It's very different than what I do in therapy sessions when I actually work on the person, when we take a look at specific ideas, limiting beliefs, problem structures, how they are created, self-esteem and everything else. But even these videos, just understanding what happens on the inside can be very, very valuable. And now to answer Matti's question, again, thank you very much. There are a number of things that are actually influencing our decisions that seem to be not necessarily always the good things that we need to do. There is, first of all, the idea of short-term and long-term reactions, which is, having a nice slice of cake is much nicer and much more immediate than maybe how my knees are going to hurt if I continue to eat a lot of extra slices of cake beyond my normal nutrition and I gain weight and my weight begins to cause me problems. It is so much further out in the future that it's very easy to fall into the trap of doing something in the present that feels much more pleasurable and much more fun, much more interesting. Playing a game feels so much more fun than doing your homework if you're not following some good structure in your mind already. Now, what can also lead to a person doing things that are not entirely the best for them in the present can happen when they have developed some habits. They are used to doing stuff. We end up learning things that used to be very efficient at some point. For example, if I in school learned to avoid people and retreat into my books, and it would avoid all sorts of problems for me because I wasn't good at fighting, because my kind of school ended up, well, at least one of them. Yes, it is part of my actual story. So when I retreated from interacting with people, it did have some very good benefits. Now, unless I address this, unless I recognize this, my habit, natural, will just continue doing for me what used to work in the past. Now, in the present, it might very well cause me problems. It might very well limit my ability to developing my business, to reaching out to people, to achieving bigger success. But again, this is not me being stupid. This is not me not knowing intuitively what's good for me. What used to be good for me is something that continues to be carried out by my brain that just has not gotten the memo, right? Also, sometimes Our unconscious mind has a lot of wisdom. Sometimes the thing that seems to our conscious minds to be completely irrational, it is actually something that is going to work out pretty well. For example, procrastinating is something that many people really, really dislike. And I get a lot of my clients who feel like they're holding themselves back from important projects. Now, sometimes procrastination is actually pretty good. If you procrastinate on some things might just work themselves out and you never have to deal with them. I'm not saying this is true for everything, but sometimes your unconscious can actually know things better than your conscious mind is proposing something. It might say, you might just feel really enthusiastic about some kind of a motivational speech, and you say, yeah, let's go. I'm going to go out and talk in front of 1,000 people. And your unconscious understands that you haven't built up the skill, you might not have prepared for it yet, and it's trying to hold you back. These are the situations where your intuition seems to be against what logically sounds like a good idea. Now, also, sometimes what we end up doing is, because of what is urgent, we have some priorities that need immediate solution, and then we might end up being pressured into doing some of the things that we do not appreciate. Then we don't realize that we have spent the whole day just putting out fires here and there instead of moving our bigger projects forward. And then if you do not appreciate all the things that you are doing, you might end up feeling bad about not having advanced what you consider to be the more important projects, your relationships, your personal development, and those things. If you forget to be kind to yourself and understand that sometimes you are taking care of very important little things, then you might feel again in a way that could create this question. And another thing that is kind of related to this, which is just understanding that many times the things that we are doing, our life is actually in a certain level of balance already. Somehow the things that you are doing have created some kind of stability and a certain amount of security. You might want that to change. You might see beyond it, but most of the time what you have already created, it already covers a lot of things. If you move one thing, at first it is going to create a little bit of an imbalance. Whatever energy and time you take away from something, it will affect the balance. I'm not saying that that is definitely a bad thing. It can be very well invested, but most of the time the things that are already taken care of, they all have their place, and your life is in already a decent enough place where you get to enjoy and appreciate all of the things that are happening. So, Matti, I really hope that this is going to help you, take you one step closer to answering this question. And I hope that if this brought up some ideas, then you will ask your question. Even if you're not Matti, if you are Matti, then please do ask any follow-up questions if you have it. Now, if you think this video can be useful, please make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you like the video so it gets shared, and you do share it with people that you feel like can benefit from it. And if you have something nice to say, please leave a comment. And I'd love to see you soon. Love to see you tomorrow also on the next video. Take care and have a kind day.